Hello there guys, what is going on? SonOfChelsea back here again for another edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Hope you're all doing well and keeping safe. This is the first episode and first video in 2021 on the channel. So hope you've all had a brilliant festive period, ready for the new year and ready as well for the January transfer window, because we're talking about Chelsea transfer rumours today with Gianluigi Donnarumma being linked with a move to Chelsea in the summer when his contract is up with AC Milan. So we're going to get into that in today's episode, not only involving him, sort of his potential move to Chelsea, but also the effect on Kepa, Arrizabalaga, Edouard Mendy, Willy Caballero, and just my thoughts about this transfer rumour, because I think it's interesting to talk about as we start the year. But before we get into any of that good stuff, I want to ask you guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also hit the like button if you're enjoying the content, because it helps out the channel as well. Now this comes from a Twitter account, ex-West Ham United employee, very well known for transfer rumours and talk. The source who broke the Edouard Mendy news in the summer that Chelsea apparently have started talks with Milan keeper Gianluigi Donnarumma, and they're hoping to persuade him to join the club this summer when his contract is up. Now, this isn't from Matt Law or Simon Johnson, one of Chelsea's sort of top transfer news accounts, so please bear that in mind when we're talking about this transfer rumour and take it with a pinch of salt. But a move done early for the summer, you instantly think about Christian Pulisic in 2019 and also recently Hakim Ziyech in February of 2020. Chelsea are now fast movers in the transfer market, and despite not going in for massive outlay this month in terms of spending, are still intending to improve the squad for next season. Now, Donnarumma, 21 years old. Given how long we've known about Donnarumma, it's quite incredible to me that he's still that young. Now, instantly when you think about how young he is, you think about Kepa, Arrizabalaga. But he's got 200 appearances for AC Milan, but you do worry about bringing a young keeper from a foreign league into the Premier League and the risk of doing that. And also, I think we need to talk about Donnarumma's agent, Mino, Raiola, and sort of the problems he could bring to Chelsea. I think about Pogba, all the noise surrounding Pogba. I know Pogba is a very unique player, but, you know, we've seen this from Raiola with several players, and it does concern me. And I think that as a Chelsea fan and looking at Chelsea as a club and Lampard currently and sort of the problems maybe of an agent speaking up when things are going poorly, I don't think it's the best thing to bring into your club. Now, you think about Donnarumma, you think about the quality this player could bring, especially being a free agent in the market. And I think about, you know, Thiago Silva, a similar type of situation, of course, for a much older player. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity potentially for Chelsea to grab an amazing keeper, bring him into the Premier League at a really low fee. Of course, agents' fees, I'm sure, would be big in this, especially with Raiola involved. But at the same time, you know, is that something Chelsea can deal with? You know, even with Raiola, even with the problems he could bring, just bring the player in and deal with it later. I do wonder about that, you know, player power and sort of agent power in the current game. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Does that sway you away from getting into this transfer in terms of Raiola's involvement and influence within it? And potentially in the future, you think about Donnarumma coming in, potentially competing with Edouard Mendy. Say if he's not the first choice goalkeeper instantly, you know, would Raiola speak up and that could bring problems to Chelsea? Let me know in the comments below. But I instantly as well think about Kepa, Arrizabalaga, the current Kepa, Arrizabalaga problem that Chelsea have, and dealing with that maybe in this window, but also the next window. I think this has a massive part to play, not only on goalkeepers, because I also think about Willy Caballero, who I assume will be leaving at the end of this season, maybe retiring completely, but also just moving on. And Chelsea will need a backup goalkeeper to help out with Edouard Mendy. And you think if both Kepa and Caballero leave in the summer, Chelsea need a replacement. But can Donnarumma come in terms of him wanting to be first choice? Now, we've seen this in the past, even for a short period of time where we had Petr Cech and Thibaut Courtois, which was an amazing season. We won the Premier League, and to have sort of that quality, strength and depth would be amazing. But you do realistically wonder how that would cope. But you think, you know, Mendy, given his story, could he deal with that being second choice potentially and competing with Donnarumma? But I think Donnarumma, the age, the profile, being Italy's #1, being such a well-known keeper, he'd expect to come in and be first choice. And I think that's something you need to understand as well. Now, I think Mendy would be an amazing #2 to have. But, you know, we've just spent money to bring Mendy in. He's first choice at the moment. But maybe it could be the sense of Chelsea just not messing about anymore. You know, they want to keep upgrading their players, you know, even if that may feel a little bit harsh to some of their newer signings. It's about, you know, improving the squad. It's about getting Chelsea back to the top of the English game. So I think that's something as well that I think shows Chelsea's intention and seriousness to keep on upgrading the squad, even after such a big summer transfer window last year. But I also think, you know, Edouard Mendy, 10 clean sheets so far this season, has done a really competent job. Yes, he's had some difficult weeks recently, but that's just generally involved in the team. You know, do you want to disrupt that harmony? Now, this would be a deal not for January, but for next summer, which I think is interesting. And I think good for the moment, you know, in terms of this season. You know, Edouard Mendy will be Chelsea's first first choice goalkeeper when fit, I think, for the rest of the season. But then beyond that, maybe you think about Donnarumma coming in. I think it's a big signing that could be a stroke of genius from Chelsea. I think it's a move that does excite me in the sense of Chelsea being really opportunistic once again. I think about Thiago Silva. I also think in a similar way, of course, not to the same level and extent and fee of the deal of Kai Havertz. You know, something comes up, you know, Chelsea getting there straight away, get the deal done in front of everyone else for a really promising young player. And it shows Chelsea's sort of long-term intentions just beyond this season, which is what I like to see. You know, Chelsea are looking at the long term with a keeper, and you do think about the Kepa situation. Chelsea need to get Kepa off the books. It's going to be a massive loss for the club. Edouard Mendy is currently 28. Despite goalkeepers' sort of history of going into their 30s, you do look at his age as well and think maybe more of a short-term signing than Donnarumma could be in the future. I also want to hear your opinions on this. You know, do you think this is a realistic deal? Do you think this is a deal Chelsea should be prioritising over the next few windows? Or do you think there are other positions Chelsea should be looking at? Let me know your thoughts on this link. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? Let me know in the comments below. And also the futures of Kepa, Arrizabalaga, Willy Caballero and Edouard Mendy. Let me know as well. But that is it for this edition of Let's Talk Chelsea. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch it. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads this year. I got a second upload today, my Chelsea versus Man City preview. Make sure you don't miss it. Hit that notification bell as well. But thank you guys for watching. Follow me on Twitter at SonOfChelsea. Have a great day. And as ever, I'll see you again.